Welcome to Traveled and Unraveled. I'm Shannon and I want to inspire you to travel and create. If you are new here, this is where travel adventures, knitting projects, and everyday moments come together. And oh boy, do I have some everyday moments for this week. So we had a bit of a rough weekend. We had some storms blow through, and I live in New Jersey. It's been like 100 degrees here for several days. We had some storms blow through, knocked out the power. Now we're used to this. I have a lot of trees on my road and on my property. Pretty much every time we have a storm, I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating, but we do lose power a lot. We have a small generator, like we're used to this drill. But this was the first time I think we've lost power when it's been so freaking hot. It was pretty unbearable. Thankfully, we were only out for maybe like 22 hours, a little less than a day. We were out of power. There's still people. It's like, I think 2 days later, and there's still people in our area that don't have power. I mean, you guys might have even seen this on the news. There were like 300,000 people in New Jersey without power. It was like some crazy storms that came through and caused a ton of damage. But thankfully, we didn't have any damage on our property, like no trees came down or anything like that. So I'm very thankful for that. But the power outage was rough. We normally will plug in our generator and then plug it right in to just pull our refrigerator away from the wall and plug the refrigerator in, because like that's my big thing. I mean, it sucks being hot and not having air conditioning, but I don't want to lose my food. We have like a freezer in our basement that we have a lot of frozen meat in, and then our whole refrigerator. But since the last power outage, we got a new refrigerator, and it's like bigger and heavier, and there's like a shim that the installers put in to balance it, and like I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to move it. So what we had to do was we also have a spare refrigerator in our basement that we use just to store stuff. It's usually not plugged in, it's not cold or anything. I just store stuff in it. What we did is we emptied all that out, plugged that into the generator, cooled it, moved all of our food from the refrigerator upstairs down to the basement so we wouldn't lose anything. So, like, honestly, my whole body is sore from this, which is pathetic. But, I mean, just lugging everything up and down the stairs, bags of food and jars, and anyway, it was not fun, but it's over. What are you going to do? Mother Nature. Okay, let's talk knitting. We're going to do kind of like a regular podcast kind of thing. And it's funny because I kind of cringe when people say, I've got a regular podcast episode for you today. But if you have gone back and watched my very first video, I had said in that video, like, I don't really understand the YouTube podcast concept. Like for me, I used to have a podcast that was on like Apple Podcasts, and we just did it. It wasn't video. Okay. It was just audio, and you had to upload it and have hosting for your podcast and all that. So I was like confused. So I now understand that YouTube has its own like podcast category. If you look at someone's YouTube channel page, you can see there's like a tab if they have podcasts, and podcasts are traditionally just the talking head type of thing like we're doing. Almost you could listen to it without watching, So I have done 2 playlists on my channel, the knitting podcasts and the travel vlogs. And I mean, honestly, there's going to be a little bit of both. Like there's a little travel in this podcast. So, I don't know what to say about the rules here, but this is how it is. So I guess I do want to call this a podcast. It's also helpful to label it as a podcast to get YouTube to show it to people, which I'm having a hard time with right now because they don't know what to do with me. Like, is it travel? Is it knitting? Like, And as I've said before, I don't care that much. I'm doing this. I mean, while it would be nice to have the level where I could get to the level where I could be monetized and make a teeny bit of money from this channel, that's not like my main goal. I just want to really find a community. I want to get to know people. I want to find people that like to knit and travel. And I also just want to document what's going on in my life, because as I've said in a previous video, I think that someday, you know, maybe future generations of my family might enjoy hearing about this. So with all that, let's dive into a little knitting. Dive in. That's another thing that's like, everybody says these same things and I'm like cringe, but I say it. It comes out of my mouth. Okay, acquisitions. I have no business having any acquisitions. I said I wasn't going to buy anything until Rhinebeck unless I went to a, you know, local yarn store while I was traveling, which I did. My nephew graduated from high school a couple weeks ago, and we went to the Catskill area to go to his graduation, stayed with my sister, she lives there, and stayed at this great Airbnb, which I'm gonna plug because it's my sister's property, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's right on the Hudson River. So I'll leave a link to that down below in the description if you ever want a little Catskill getaway. She lives in a great town. There's a lot of cute restaurants there. It's very small, just like if you really want a completely chill, laid back getaway, this is your spot. After we were there for a couple days, we went, I guess that's like maybe a half an hour south of where she is, to Saugerties, New York. And if you have been to the New York Sheep and Wool Festival in Rhinebeck, you probably are familiar with Saugerties. It's like the next town. This is where Indie Untangled takes place, which is the couple days before Rhinebeck, I guess. Anyway, I went to a local yarn store called Perfect Blend Yarn and Tea Shop. Now, first of all, when I was like Googling, I'm like, yarn and tea? Are you kidding me? And I actually thought that it might be a tea shop in the sense where you could get tea, like be served coffee and tea type of thing. But then I thought about it and I'm like, it's probably not very likely that, you know, if you're going to serve like drinks and food, it's a whole nother kind of like, you know, license and whatever you need to operate a business. So I'm like, it's probably not likely. I was correct. It is a yarn store, a fantastic yarn store, and they also sell tea, like different boxes of tea. So I did get some tea, and they had little samples of some of their iced tea just out for you to try, which was nice. And the store was 3 rooms of just awesomeness. You know, they had all kinds of yarn, you know, basically everything that you would expect, plus, you know, local dyers and things like that. And I got this. It's called Whole Knit and Caboodle Slub. Now, I've never knit with a slub yarn. You can see all of these little, you know, pieces kind of bumped up here. That's what slub means. I did not know that. I have never really heard about this type of yarn before. So they had a tee. I think it was called the Sublime tee is the pattern name, knit up as a sample, and I really liked it. And I only needed 2 skeins to make the tee, so I bought it. I love this color too. So that is my acquisition. Hopefully we won't be talking much about acquisitions for a while. I don't know. But Saugerties was also a really cool town. It had a very cute downtown, very walkable, And only like maybe 5 minutes from the yarn store is the Saugerties Lighthouse, which is actually an Airbnb. You can stay in the lighthouse. But we just walked the path. It's like maybe, I think it's like 3/4 of a mile, this like, you know, idyllic path you're walking through, all this foliage and the river, and absolutely gorgeous. We walked out to the lighthouse. They have free tours like every half hour-ish. I don't know if they were closing at 3 o'clock, and I think that's because they had guests coming into the Airbnb. So you'll have to check about their hours. But we caught the last tour, and they brought us up to the top, and we got to climb up and look around and learn a little bit about the history. And it was just beautiful, beautiful spot. Highly recommend, you know, going to Saugerties and checking out the town. I have no finished objects, partially because I have frogged this scarf 3 times. Well, 2 times. This is the 3rd time I'm knitting it. So this is the Hufflepuff scarf that I'm making for my daughter. It's knit with Cascade 220 worsted weight yarn. I started out with an 8 needle, which is what the pattern recommended. And then I decided that I thought it looked too big. No, wait. No, that's not it. I started out with an 8 needle, and I thought it was heavy. It was like dense and heavy. So I'm like, let me try a 9. So I tried a 9 needle, and that seemed okay until I got, like, I probably got like this much done. I probably got this much done of it before I was like, this is huge. All right, this right here is 50 stitches cast on a size 8 needle. The second time I did it, okay, let's follow along now. The first time, the pattern says size 8 needle, 80 stitches cast on, which is what I did first. It was too dense, too big, too heavy. Ripped it out, size 9 needle. I think I went down to like 70 cast on stitches because I didn't want it to be so big. But then I'm on a size 9 needle, so it's still huge. It's huge. Like, it was so wide. It looked ridiculous. So I'm like, okay, this isn't working either. I went back to the size 8 needle, ripped it all out, went back to a size 8 needle, and I only cast on 50 stitches, and finally I'm happy with it. I'm happy. I mean, this is pretty, it's knit in a tube, you know, so it looks really great from any side, which I love. But because it's in a tube, it's like so heavy. I don't know that anyone needs a scarf this warm, you know. So 50 stitches I cast on instead of 80. So, and now it's going pretty fast because I've got it right now. Okay, my next work in progress is this monstrosity here. Okay, this is going to be the Thelma cardigan. And yes, it looks a little strange right now, the way the construction is. So you actually start like right here, doing this little bit of the collar. The collar's way too wide for me, but it is what it is. We're just gonna, this is one of those projects where I don't really love the yarn. I got this yarn at 50% off, and I've been sitting on it for a long time, not knowing what to do with it. And I'm like, I'm just gonna do this. And maybe it's gonna be just like a hang around the house kind of sweater, cardigan. Maybe I'll hate it, who knows? You know, I don't like it right now. Like, I think it looks very messy. The yarn is very rustic, but everyone tells me at my local yarn store they've used this yarn, they tell me that it softens up. It's gonna be nice when I block it. So hopefully. But a little bit about the construction of this one. You start by just doing this little teeny bit of this collar right here, these rows, okay? Then you do the back panel, which is like this, all right? You extend the collar and cast on some more stitches on one side, then you do it on the other side, back panel. Then you go back and pick up along the back panel and the collar and knit down the front and eventually join it. Actually, no, you don't join it because it's a cardigan, but eventually, you know, split the sleeves and just do the solid front to back. So it's a little, it's a lot. I don't know, but did you ever have those feelings where you just want to be done with the yarn? Like, I don't want to think about this yarn anymore. I just want to do this project and have this yarn out of my stash. That's how I feel about it. I hope I come to love it, but right now I don't. I don't love it at all. But what I do love is my next whip, which I cast on pretty recently. You guys may remember that I have talked about this Miss Babs Estrelita yarn. It's a fingering weight. The color is called Zombie Games. I am absolutely enchanted with this yarn. Totally and completely love the way it looks. This is the start of the Cumulus tee by Petite Knit, just a very basic V-neck tee because we want the yarn to shine. I love it. I love it. I can't wait. This is like all I really want to work on, and I have to force myself to work on the other ones. But it's also good because I have different size needles, and that's supposed to be very good for your hands and fingers to, you know, vary. Like this is a size 2 on very thin yarn. The other one's size 8 needles on a worsted weight, you know, so it's a different experience. And apparently that's supposed to be very good for you as knitters. So take my advice. I am also planning to cast on one more project. Now, the reason that I have so many, besides that I just like to have different things to do, the other reason is that I work at a local yarn store, and the owner likes us to work on projects there that we have bought the yarn from her, which is understandable. Like if I work there, I'm sitting at the table knitting, someone comes in to shop and they see and they're like, oh, what's that yarn? And I say, oh, we don't have it here. I didn't get it here. Like, you know, it's not great. So I have to have projects that I can take to work with me, and then projects I can do other times. So another one I want to cast on is called the Sundial tee by Wool and Pine. They had a big sale and I got the pattern on sale, and it's fingering weight and it's mosaic, and it can use up your stash, okay? So what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna have you guys come along with me on this journey, I'm gonna pull out all my fingering weight yarns and see what I can do, what might look good, how I can make this tee and use up some of my stash. So let's go. Welcome to my stash. I mean, I don't know, what do we think? This one has very subtle, I don't know if you can see that, but there's some subtle colors in there, variations, so it might work. It's not too serious, but I mean, I guess I don't mind these together, but I don't love it. I mean, this is kind of giving me like fall vibes, but I don't know. I don't really love any of it. Okay, well, that was kind of a bust for the Sundial tee, but I realized that most of my stash I do have a project in mind for. Like, it is designated for something. I do have some random DK yarn that I got from like a subscription box type thing that I probably, like I have one skein and it's variegated, and I probably can't do much more than, you know, socks or a small shawl or something. So, but this was a good exercise. I thought I was going to be able to pick out enough to do the Sundial tee, but apparently not. So, oh well. That's all for this week. I would love it if you could give this video a like or subscribe or share it with other knitters and travelers that you know. It would really help me to kind of show YouTube who might like my videos and get it kind of pushed out to the right people. I would appreciate that so much. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week.